Hello, spoon feeders. Welcome to another episode of Spoon Fed Truth. I am your host, Vicky. I am joined by my co-hosts down there,
Hello.
Emma and Damien.
Hi.
Of course, Paulie to my left here, and we have two special guests on our show today. Hello to Des and her son, BJ.
You guys want to say hi?
Hello.
Hi.
So guys, thank you for being on the show. We are doing this live from my backyard because we did not expect to have more people than usual.
Yeah.
But I did some calculation, Des, and would you believe we have known each other for nearly...
Don't do maths.
You know maths isn't my forte, but we have been friends for nearly 30 years.
Damn.
Yeah.
Does that make you feel old?
Being old makes me feel old, but that makes me feel really old.
Yeah. I was surprised by that figure myself because, I mean, you're only old as you feel, right? I know, you're feeling pretty damn old. Thank you for joining us today. Can you first, both of you, tell us a little about yourselves?
You can hold this, BJ.
Yeah, you can go first.
You go first.
Me go first.
Yeah.
Okay. So I suppose I'm an old single parent. I work in disability as well. Been in the disability sector for probably about 8 years now. Drawn to it with having my mum work in counselling services and community services and that kind of stuff. So I guess it's sort of always been drilled into me to be kind to people and help people. Found out this one's diagnosis probably when he was about 7. So he was a late diagnose. But yeah, known you for apparently 30 years.
Okay.
Yeah, that's me.
I work with horses.
Wow. That's pretty cool. No, genuinely, that's pretty cool.
My dream job is unemployment.
That's a pretty cool one.
Basically anything that's edible is tasty. And I like fish.
Nice.
Cool. Thank you. So, Des, you mentioned about BJ's diagnosis. Can you tell us a little bit more about that?
Yeah, so it actually all stemmed from concerns that we had whilst he was with a teacher that wasn't as supportive as his Kinder Year 1 teacher. So up until Year 2, he was quirky, but quite happy and bubbly and chatty. And then he had a teacher that was a bit more military in her teaching style, a lot less understanding and empathy and compassion from Year 2, which started to bring out some more negative traits. He was becoming more isolated, he was struggling more socially, getting very overwhelmed quickly. So I took him to our GP, who is a fantastic GP. So we've been very, very lucky with her support and understanding and what she's been able to give us. And she straight off the bat said, let's go to a psychologist because we're looking at Asperger's. After the endless wait lists and financials and everything else that goes into jumping through all the hoops, he was actually diagnosed with a little bit more, and I do believe I actually phoned you on that day, a little overwhelmed because there was multiple diagnoses. It wasn't just the Asperger's, which we were sort of looking at. So you were diagnosed autism level 2 with Asperger's syndrome.
That's higher than I can count.
He's also managing sensory processing disorder, severe anxiety, ADHD. Later on in the diagnosis, he got...
Sorry to cut you off. But there is a wrestling match going on with the dogs over there that is so distracting. And I'm going to kill them.
Nacho's at a significant loss.
They're having a whale of a time.
Should we put them inside or are they alright there?
Yeah, but I'm scared they're going to
Destroy the house.
bark because we're out
Yeah.
here.
Yeah. Okay, you guys are probably just gonna have to cop the sounds, so it's alright.
Sorry about that. Sorry to cut you off.
That's okay. Could be worse.
Yeah.
So a few years after his diagnosis, obviously, therapies came into play and self-awareness came into play and more challenges from school came into play, and that ended up leading to a PTSD diagnosis from bullying. Unfortunately, not just from students, but from teachers as well. So yeah, it was very, very challenging to be thrown such a mix of diagnoses. And then he's got a lot of physical health challenges as well, which is quite common with the ADHD diagnosis.
Yep. So pipe down, please. So just on the topic of school, because I know it's a lot to unpack. What did you find was most challenging about the time at school? Was it the teachers, the students? Was it kind of all the same? Actually, both of you could pretty much
Yeah.
answer it from
Maybe
each
one from each, yeah.
perspective.
Do you want to answer first, or do you want me to answer first?
Opposite gender first.
And do
Opposite
with
to
that.
me.
No.
I think the most challenging aspect of school was, I suppose it sort of came in part with two aspects. One of them was the awareness around autism and ADHD, but the lack of understanding. And so you sort of get people that do the whole, oh, no, it's okay, we know about that, so we can put supports in place. And then I get a phone call saying, he's running around the school and we don't know why. And it's like, well, what happened? And then they'll explain to me what happened. It's like, well, that's why he's running around the school. And they go, oh, really? And it could be something as simple as the teacher might be off, so they might have a temporary teacher for the day. I'm going to cut myself
Do you
off
wanna-
because
yeah.
that's very distracting. So the change of routine or an unfamiliar face walking into the classroom and carrying on as if nothing's out of
wrong,
the
yeah.
ordinary. And he's left sitting there going, nope. And then he starts to escalate his behaviours, and people that know him can see those, the escalated behaviours. There's more noises that are coming out, there's more flapping of the arms, there's less engagement, there's signs, but if you don't know him, you just see this child starting to misbehave, and then he gets told off and
Right.
consequences. The other challenging aspect of school is the fact that they go to discipline before anything else most of the time. So there's been times where we've gone into the school, we've explained a situation that's going on in the personal life or something that's happened recently, explain that, X, Y, and Z's going on. They go, yep. Later that day, I get a phone call, he's on a level card or he's been suspended or there's something going on. It's like, well, where are the supports? Why do I sit there giving you all these reports and communicating with you and putting in behaviour plans and all the rest of it if you're just going to skip straight to the discipline, which then heightens it and creates more of an issue. And next time there's a situation, he's just going to go straight in the bat with misbehaving because what's the point in even trying? And so, yes, but you.
What do I say?
What did you struggle most with at school?
Like, obviously there was the whole, student side of it, and, the teachers as well, and, from kindergarten, I always sort of had, that one friend that sort of got me through it, but then he had some stuff going on, and he was having a lot of time off school, so I had to make basically reconnect with a old friend, old friend. And like, it sort of got to the point where they, like, two friends that I had at the time, they didn't overly like each other. So there was the whole balancing out the two of them. But then, like, by the end of it, the first friend just had some stuff going on and made some wrong choices, and then the friend that I made later on, I became the backup friend. But then you had teachers, like, year 1 and year 2, she was incredible. Then, no, kindy and year 1, she was incredible. Then year 2, she wasn't. Year 3 and then most of year 4 was really good. But then for the remainder of year 4, we had basically Mrs. Trunchbull from Matilda.
I think everybody knows what that person is like.
Everyone's had a teacher like that.
Yeah.
And like she was complaining that I wasn't staying focused, so I came back to school and I'd been put up at the back of the classroom when I was previously in the middle with like a board in front. And I had like posters that were made for like 2-year-olds saying, "Today's the day I do better," stuff like that. And I had like a reward chart system, and it's like, I'm not 2. Yeah.
I think what was most challenging about that for you is the significant change in the humiliation that you felt, because it was that shock when you walked into the room to go, what's going on? And then to be treated like a very immature and unintelligent person with the way it was sort of displayed and made out to be, that was most challenging for you. I think if it was more of an approach of, I've had this idea, we've been talking to the teachers, this is what we're thinking, and including him. And I think that's a huge lack that we've had, is that inclusion in what's going to be good for him, that characterization of, you have this diagnosis, therefore this is going to work for you. No.
Yeah,
no.
instead of just assuming you.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that sort of stems onto that other challenge that we've had at school, is kids you can sort of explain to another child that they might be going through their own stuff, they're growing, they're learning, there's education that goes into making good choices, but then when you've got adults that are doing it, how can you say they've got growing to do?
Yeah.
And can you explain to me the board in front of you in your class?
That's interesting.
What's that about?
So it was just a regular school desk, but it was almost like, I really don't know how to explain it. It was literally like where the floor meets the wall, and it petitions like that, and it was literally just a board that completely covered the view.
So it's like an L-shaped desk.
For the purpose of?
Apparently I was distracted from schoolwork, so she thought it would be a good idea to
Block vision.
completely block the view and add posters and...
Is that something that, is that a strategy?
Not that I've ever heard of, no.
What was the idea behind it? Like isolated learning kind of thing, or?
Basically, I think it was never fully explained to me, because I may or may not have gotten a little bit cranky at the situation, and as Vicky knows me so well, the lioness mother came out.
That's fair though. Like that's pretty fair. And like I've even worked, like I've been a teacher's aide as well in like the disability section of schools, and I have never seen anything like that before in my life. And like
you couldn't even see the like the screen, the whiteboard, or anything that was going on up front. Yeah. But I think what her theory was behind it is, if the less he can see, the less distraction there's going to be. But it's also the less visual to the learning environment.
And it's not like really including you either. You're not feeling supported, and you're feeling different,
targeted,
in that
isolated.
way. Like, that's horrible. Yeah, just not the right way to go about it, I don't think.
But going back to being like excluded and feeling like it was one-sided. Like it was very much, I literally, one day, regular desk, the next, it was put up, and you know, like the squishy stress animals that you can get? She, like, sort of pulled me aside and went, like, I bought this for you, so when you're ready, you can open it and help. Like, basically, in a mocking way, went, I did this because I'm better than everyone else. And, like, English has left through my backside.
Like condescending.
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty much.
You did often feel like she was looking down at you and judging you for
Yeah.
your choices.
Like, I think every school at some point has done those speeches where you write it at home, then you do it in front of the class. If you do well, you can
Yeah.
go on to do it in front of the entire school.
Yes. Yeah.
I wrote, I think it was a speech about speeches or something. Like, I put so much time into it, presented it in front of the class, and basically qualified for the next round, so to speak. But obviously, with the teacher being who she was, I wasn't behaving very well, to say the least. And basically, she, in a roundabout way, just said, "You're misbehaving, so I'm going to stop you from going to the next level."
Yeah.
The
Wow.
consequence was
Yeah.
losing his academics. Yeah.
Wow.
Um,
Wow.
But Mum came up, asked her about it. She denied it. And the other two kids that advanced to the next round even said he had done it. And I wasn't close to those people by any means.
Right,
But
okay.
like, sort of going on to you being
Yeah.
the support aide.
Yes. Yeah.
Similar, there was another teacher. He was amazing. Basically, it got to the point where I would go to the bathroom and then go the long way back to sort of like de-stress, if that makes sense. But then she'd just say, "You're absconding," and then essentially just stop me from going to the bathroom.
Wow.
And then got to the point where I would just walk out, essentially.
Yeah.
And then she said, "You're gonna have to get a buddy to go into the, like, not just to walk up to the bathroom with you, but to actually go into the bathroom and make sure you weren't doing anything you weren't supposed to." So I was having, like, random people that I hadn't said a word to in my life.
Yeah, that's embarrassing as well. It's just they're just not educated. Like that's what it is. It's just they're not educated, so they just it's bad.
I think part of the problem was that lack of communication.
Yeah.
So he'd have, and I think you were going back and forth a little bit. So just to clarify, there was a teacher that was really, really supportive.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, so he was really, really supportive, to the point where if they were, if they had sex ed in class one day, he would let me know beforehand.
Yeah.
He would let me know what the topic of conversation was. I would either confirm or deny that that's something that we've spoken about before. We would then collaborate together to make sure that he's ticking all the boxes
Yeah,
as far
see,
as
that's
education.
well.
Then he was able to step into the other room
Yeah.
during that
I was
part.
talking about Sean.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right. But he was able to step into the other part of the room. So he wasn't heightened and he wasn't overwhelmed.
Yeah.
But then you get other teachers that say it's part of the curriculum, you have to do it,
Yeah.
X, Y, and Z. And it was the same with dance classes. Dance classes was a huge no-no for this one. So the supportive teachers, like Sean, would say, "No, that's fine, grab a book,
Yeah.
or here's some text work for you to do."
Yeah.
He'd sit down and complete that in visual, and that was fine. But then you get other teachers that go, "No, it's all about social skills and interaction and everything that triggers people that are
Yeah.
autistic," and it's like,
Was this like in a mainstream school?
yes,
Yes. Yeah.
but it was a
'Cause-
mainstream school that also had a an MC unit, was it called? That was specific for people with multi-diagnosis
Yes,
and
okay, yeah.
challenging behaviours. So they definitely had on-site
Yes.
people that were well aware. Was supposed to be well aware.
Yes.
How to
But
manage.
did this happen in that unit, or was it separate? Like, was this in
Separate.
the mainstream
It was in the
classes?
mainstream,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
But like that year 4 and that teacher had sort of gone. Like back to going about the like year 5, so to speak. The teacher was so my year 2 teacher had to have surgery for some reason or another and was off for a month or 2. And we had the substitute teacher. She was really, really good, really supportive. But then come year 5, she was a completely different person. Then she ended up leaving. Then we got another one where the kinder year 1 teacher that was incredible. It was her sister or something. So we went, she's going to be incredible. And she was... Like, basically, she would take the sports that I needed and mocked me about it. It's like going into it was like a little... So it was a class that had a, like, sliding wall in the middle. So you could sort of open up the wall. But then you also had... It was called a wet room. And it was basically just like a connecting thing between the 2 rooms. And I would sit in there when we were doing uncomfortable topics. And then she would, like, sort of be like, BJ, you can take your laptop and go sit in the wet room if you'd like to. Or if it was, like, pretty much anything that we had to do, it was like, BJ, there's no stress about doing this. It's okay if you can't do it. I understand. Stuff like that. And
So she was more supportive. Yes?
It was almost like she tried to show everyone that she was, so to speak.
Okay.
But she was just... You could tell she was bitter about it.
Okay, yeah.
But then, like, I had that teacher that you were talking about earlier. He was absolutely incredible. Everyone in the school loved him.
Okay.
But
he left.
That's always the way, though, isn't it? The good ones always leave, yeah?
yeah, he got a
Yeah,
principal
yeah.
role at another school and left. But the teacher I was just talking about ended up being the replacement. And basically, I got a teacher's aide.
Yeah.
That she wasn't, like, she'd sort of just sit with me. She wasn't overly harassing.
Okay.
But, like, once I had a packet of food or something during class.
Dramas.
Can you explain that was a support that was put in place because eating is like a...
I'm hungry all the time. It was like Oreos or something. And I was just eating them. And she, like, looked at me and it's like, can I have one? And I said to her, no. And then she, like, very dramatically did like that.
Was she young?
Sounds young.
She looks like she was like 90.
Middle
Okay.
age.
Yeah. Okay.
Wasn't
yeah.
aging very
Yeah,
well.
wow. So that's very unprofessional as well, like working for the education. That's crazy. Yeah.
And Mum basically went, that's not on. We didn't ask for a teacher's aide. There wasn't any communication. It was like the whole desk thing again. I rocked up and it's like, this is your new teacher's aide.
Yeah.
And basically, long story short, we got rid of her. The teacher said there'd be no more teacher's aides. The next day, there was a different one. But she was... I would struggle on a question for more than 30 seconds and she would go, it's all right, take a break, take a breath, go have a drink, go have a walk. And it's like, I'm not, like, disabled. I don't need... Like, I'm not a baby, essentially. But she would literally follow me everywhere. Like, lunch, recess. She had to be. And it wasn't like she would watch from a distance.
It was more harassment than support.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, she wouldn't be at the top of the field watching me at the bottom. She would be with me. And it got to
Okay.
the point where...
Like you wanted your independence. Yeah.
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 But I did have a friend in year 5 and 6. And me and her... Like, it got to the point where when we had the bell, we just leg it. And then just, like, sit in a corner. But like I would say, can you stop following me? Not exactly that nice, but like I basically went, stop harassing us, and she went, it's for your own safety.
Right.
But yeah, it wasn't great. But then high school, before I even started, wasn't it? Went in, gave the diagnosis. I had a watch at the time that had a SIM card in it. I couldn't like play games or anything on it. It was purely for like sending messages, but I could only send emojis. So it was like if I needed to go home, I would send like a clock.
I was the only number in the watch.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
But like they were aware of that, and they said it was fine. First day, it was dance class, and I didn't want to participate, and they knew that you said no, like he's not going to participate, and they basically got upset and angry, and I walked out and gone to the office and messaged mum. And then I don't remember the excuse me. Vicky thinks it's funny. I don't remember the fine details of it, but basically, you said like I'm coming to pick him up or something. And at the time, I didn't take my phone to school at that time, but we had the Yonder pouches, I think they're called. They had like the magnetic lock. And basically, they went like, "Give us your phone," and it's like I don't have my phone. And it's like, "Show us your Yonder pouch." So I did, and there was nothing in it because I didn't have my phone. And they were saying, like, you've unlocked it at the thing, give us your phone. And it's like, I'm more than happy for you to check the cameras and do whatever you need, like, whatever you deem necessary to, like, make yourselves feel better. But then we had, like, a meeting about that, and basically the principal literally said, we don't have time for... It wasn't? Oh, it was like the year 7, 8 something coordinator.
Year advisor.
I don't remember exactly what it said, but it was pretty much, we don't have time for autistic kids in mainstream. And
Wow.
Mum got upset and then started saying more.
Wait. They use those words.
Exact quote.
Really?
Yep.
Wow.
One last thing. Yes, I will be quiet soon.
No, I think Vicky just wants to touch base more on that.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Here's the icing on the cake. Mum, like, basically said back that's not appropriate to say. Yada, yada, yada. And it ended up leading back to them saying, I think you should be the parent and decide for him.
Wow.
So this was one of the last meetings that we had with the school.
Before you go, like, you do homeschooling now, right?
Yes.
Yes.
So it was.
So this is high school.
Yes.
Yes,
So
and this is
just a bit of backstory on how we got to the meeting where the year advisor had said that they didn't have time for autistic people in mainstream.
That's quality.
Peak cinema.
It was the year advisor. The one was to advise you and guide you and support you. But no, we actually had a number of meetings prior to this. The first one being the year before, year 7, met up with the school. We had one of the support teachers there. We had somebody from his year there. Laid it all out. Just open book. This is what's going on for us. What can we do for you to make things successful for you? What can you do for him to make things successful for him? She actually said, throw him in the deep end. Let's see where he fails, and then we'll put the supports in place. Okay. I don't think that's going to work. How about we give you some of the strategies that the primary school are using to help there? They started off with the whole, well, things are different in high school. They're treated more like adults in high school. It's like, yes, I get that. But during the transition period, what supports can you put in place? Yeah. They said there'll be supports. Everything's fine. we discussed the watch. So the watch was something that was given to him in primary school as a coping strategy, because he got to the point where he didn't even feel safe to go to the office to call me.
Right.
So it was, we had this like a little hieroglyphic code of a clock meant that it was like, time out, I'm done, I want to go home. A sad face was just, I need you to call. So there was, little emojis, because he couldn't send words or anything from his watch. It was literally just the emojis. So told them about that in high school. They did say it was fine. But that's where the accusation of having the phone, they accused him of having the phone, because I've turned up and said he's messaged me, and they've
Said how
he's
they do
got the
that?
phone.
Yeah.
So every incident that happened, I would usually get notified from him first. So then we'd have another meeting, we'd talk about it, explained the SLSOs that he had in primary school, queried why he didn't have them in high school, because the funding that he got given from the education department to provide it in primary school should have rolled over into high school. So high school blamed the primary school blamed the high school. It was just a never-ending battle to try and get answers. In the meantime, he wasn't getting those supports.
Like
So
2-year-olds who stole the last jelly bean.
so meeting after meeting, they got to the point where they just went, we don't have time for this. The head of the support unit that they have at the high school was trying to push for him to go into the support unit. Our argument was, academically, he is mainstream. He is very, very intelligent. His NAPLAN results were off the charts. Intellectually, he is needing to be in mainstream. Socially, he needs that support in mainstream. Where's the SLSO? So the head of the support unit was pushing and pushing and pushing, saying that he needs to be in the support unit. He was saying, if you put me in the support unit, I will not go to school. I will not get out of the car. It all stemmed back to being targeted in primary school, being picked on in primary school. If you're in the MC unit, being in mainstream, you hear all the comments that kids say about the kids in the MC. He didn't want to be associated with that. I supported that, because I also know that somebody has mimicking behaviours. So that masking that tends to happen. If you're surrounded by people that have got behavioural issues, then it's going to add to his behavioural issues, because he's going to mimic what's around him. So there were so many reasons why the support unit wasn't for him. And believe me, I am 100% for the support unit. Every school should have them, because the kids that need it completely benefit from it. It is a great thing to have. It's just not for everyone.
Right.
He has shown that with the right supports, he was doing fantastic in mainstream. Without those supports, he was struggling. So the support unit, the head of the support unit, didn't agree with me to say that I'm actually listening to him. He doesn't want it. We don't feel as though it's a good fit for him. She literally turned around and said, maybe you need to step up and be the parent.
Wow.
It's like, I am, because I'm advocating for my child.
Yeah. That's crazy.
Just to add on to that, it was almost like she was saying, he's autistic, he can't make decisions for himself.
Yes.
So whatever his opinions are obsolete, because he's just another autistic kid that can't make decisions for himself.
And how did you guys, through that transitional period, right? Because it kind of sounds like once they did start to implement the supports, that he did start to do better. So during that period, how did you guys kind of get through that?
Well, primary school was probably the only time that he actually had supports put in place. Some were successful, some weren't. High school, it tended to just nothing. It was the supports that we can offer. They did assign SLSOs intermittently, and when he had them, he felt safer, and you did participate a little bit more, but the damage was already done. The way that they were speaking to him, the instant disciplines, he just went, this is just primary school all over again. I was expecting high school to be different. They were going to treat me like an adult. They were going to respect me more. He goes in, and it's the same as what it was in primary school. So primary school, they had supports in place where, so one of the teachers wasn't necessarily a classroom teacher, but he was there for a kind of a roundabout support person.
Okay.
So yeah, it started with the support from this teacher was when the class bell went for the school day to start, he'd go into the room with this teacher and play card games, and they'd just have a 10 or 15 minute chat, a couple of games, and then he'd walk him to the classroom and then settle him in. It was fantastic. It worked really, really well. It helped with that anxiety because he knew that as soon as the bell went, it wasn't the start of the day. Started to learn that if he kept on pretending to lose, the game would go for longer. So he did manipulate the situation a little bit. But he was fantastic. But that same person then became one of our biggest enemies, one of our absolute biggest enemies. He got a different job within the school. I don't know if it was the stress of what he was doing or anything like that, but he changed. He completely changed. And for someone that was such a support person for you for so long, to then become a not very nice person, it was really, really hard. It was really, really hard. We had, so he's got an OT, and he's been working with an OT pretty much. I think the wait list for that was a little bit longer than speech, wasn't it? I think the OT was maybe a 6-month wait after diagnosis. But she was one of the first support therapists that he had. She would start engaging with him, but then ask him, can I come to the school? Because clearly there's a lot of issues at school, but it's like, no, I'm going to be a target. I don't want people to see that I'm with you. Eventually you sort of came round, but then the feedback that I'll be getting from the therapist is, I don't know how to help him at school because the teachers won't work with me.
Yeah.
It's like
Roadblock.
massive.
Yeah. What about emotionally? How did you cope? I mean, that's a lot for a kid to go through from primary school and then bleeds through into high school. How were you dealing with emotions like at home? What did you do? What did you see? What did you experience?
From me or him?
Both.
Do you remember much of your emotions when you got home?
Yeah.
Do you want to talk about them?
Probably a little off topic, not gonna lie. But going back to how he changed. Don't look at me like that.
I didn't look at you like anything. Yeah.
It is related to how I felt and stuff, but like it was similar to how it was he's autistic, he can't make decisions for himself. Similar to that, it's so the whole thing was this kid accused me of doing something that I didn't. I had witnesses from my friend at the time, and then like a bunch of other kids that were around there that I didn't know. But because I was like wasn't exactly behaved, and this other kid had been tormenting me for ages and ages and ages.
He was just school bully for about 3 years.
Looked like hepatitis, but that's beyond the point.
That's right. Power of editing.
Yeah, we'll
but because he was the good kid, and the other dude that he did, like, that he was friends with at the time said he did. Basically, I was pulled aside. The other two kids that were saying I did something, like, wrote this whole spiel about what I did. And, like, both of them were sort of questioned. The friend that was with me at the time, nothing. Like, he wasn't questioned. It was only me, and he said I don't even know what his role was, but the dude that I went and played the card games with before class. He just said to me, "What happened?" And I said, "Nothing happened." And he went, "Can you write it down on paper?" And I wrote, "Nothing happened," because nothing happened. And long story short, I got suspended, but they said they decided afterwards. But the date of it being signed or whatever it was the same day. I don't know. Memory of a fish.
No, so when he became our biggest enemy at the school, one of our biggest blockers and challenges, basically with somebody that's got a diagnosis, any disciplinary process, they have to have a support person with them.
Right.
Have to have a support person. He was accused of doing something that he didn't do. The bully, and as most people that have experienced bullies know so well, bullies are really good at manipulating. They are very, very good at coming across as just a cheeky classroom clown, friends with everybody, very popular, flies under the radars with teachers, but then as soon as the teacher turns the back, pokes the bear. He was very, very good at tormenting this one to the point where it just got to a point with a simple look would send him flying because he was just so tired of being treated the way that he was by this kid. Right. So he got the interview, his mate got the interview. He was then interviewed with an instant, "This is what they've said you've done." So defense walls come up. Anger comes up because he's been dealing with this kid for so long to now he's lying about me. I'm in trouble. I'm in this room. So he starts throwing pens across the room. He starts, shoving the chair in and trying to walk out. And I get a phone call to say he's not coping. He's, sort of throwing stuff. He's ripping paper. Can you come in and have a chat? I come in and have a chat, sit down and go, okay, so we're talking about suspension. I wasn't even notified that it was a suspension interview. Oh. Which is another procedure that they need to follow. They need to let you know that this is so.
Boss array.
So then, of course, I'm left sitting there going, "Hang on a minute. Where was his support person? Why wasn't I called in for the meeting that you had with him?" He then denied that it was actually an interview with him and just said, "I just asked him what happened." And it's like, well, isn't that an interview? Isn't that questioning?
Yeah.
So yeah, that was the.
There is actually another thing that I don't want to talk about as well.
Sure. How much time we got left?
I think it was after, maybe before. I'm not too sure. But we got speech therapist in there, emotional support for mum. I think it was like the vice principal or something, because the main principal was on leave. We all sat.
Sorry, I just got flashbacks to her.
Flashbangs.
Yeah.
Yeah, go.
But we were all in the room talking about like my behaviors, and I got overwhelmed, walked out and sat in the hall. Another one of the people that had been tormenting me for a few years walked past and called me a snarky, like said something snarky. I can't remember what it was. I don't give a fart. But said something, and there was like an empty picture frame next to me, and I've just like pushed that down to the floor. And then instantly they've gone, like, he did that, he's in trouble. And it's like, but if you actually asked him and actually didn't just automatically assume that he's just the bad guy, she called him, he said something, and it's like, oh. And it's like, don't just go into the automatic, he's autistic, he did it because he's autistic. It's like...
There's a lot of assumptions that you're just misbehaving because you don't like what's going on around you, as opposed to an actual trigger. And the big trouble that you've had is that you react for a reason. It's not a behavioural. He doesn't have behavioural issues. No. Yeah. He's not one to be aggressive because he's bored. He's not one to be, you'll be silly and you'll be noisy and we'll get flapping arms and distractions. But as far as aggressive behaviour or angry behaviours, there is always a trigger. There is always a reason for it. And that was always overlooked. But no, the reason why I left when he started talking about that second meeting was because when I was a little overwhelmed by being told that it was a suspension discussion, I immediately said, I can't do this right now. He was flipping out. He was absolutely flipping out. He was overwhelmed. He was running around the school. I sat down, was bombarded with this information. I put a stop to it immediately. I said, I can't do this now. I'm going to go get my kid and I'm going to take him home. As I walked out of that room, he followed me, saying, but we need to talk about it. I said, no, I can't. And I got to the point where I just turned around and said, if this is what you're doing to me, it's no wonder he is overwhelmed. I said, enough is enough. Yeah. I will speak to you when I'm ready. Yeah. Then I organised for an actual formal meeting. Yeah. We took a witness with us, which was a speech therapist, because she was there for a lot of the issues with what was going on. He was there, and then one of the hierarchies were there. When I was expressing the fact that, because he kept on saying, but we called you in for a meeting to discuss it, I said, no, you pulled me in because he wasn't coping. I got here and then found out that it was a meeting. The look on the vice principal's face, she was mortified, absolutely mortified. And then when we went on to say that he didn't have a support person with him when you were interviewing him, and he was denying there and then that he wasn't interviewing him, I made the point of, I'm sorry, but if you pull somebody into a room and ask them a question, that is an interview. Yeah. Again, her face was just, I think she just wanted the world to swallow her up. Right there.
And I feel like he underestimated your intelligence.
And my rap.
Like, you're not dealing with a dumb shit mother. This one actually kind of knows what she's doing.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's to me is really hard, not just as an adult. Like, it's hard enough as an adult to have to advocate for your child who's not getting treatment, but you're getting punched from kids who are bullies and the teachers who are meant to be supporting you and protecting you, but are actually part of the problem as well.
It's just solves the wound at that point.
Well, it's really hard when you're sending your child to a place where you think that they're going to be cared for and kept safe. Yeah. They're the ones that are actually causing most of the unsafe feeling. So I never thought that he was in danger, but that feeling of safety and security, the principal told me at one point that my child is just manipulating me, and then I had to explain to my child what manipulation was for him to then start screaming, but I don't do that. And it's like, no, Bubba, that's why I kind of screamed at your principal, because I'm well aware that that's not what you do.
Another thing, going back to the meeting that was happened, basically, a few years prior, it was after I got diagnosed, like a couple of months after, there was a kid that, he wasn't exactly nice, but he kept pushing me. You know what's happening. Yep. I told him to stop. I walked off. I told the teacher. I did everything that the school said do, and they'll stop, essentially. The teacher told him to sit on the bench. Second she turned her back, he got up, came back. By the end of it, I shoved him back.
Physically?
Yeah. But, like, he was doing it easily 10, 15 minutes. I did everything I physically could. And then he basically went off and cried, and it was, boom, you're on a level card. And I'm not done. But it was like, Mum came up and it was, what was he supposed to do? It was say stop. He did that. Tell the teacher he did that. Don't, like, just walk off. He did that. Like, there was nothing that I could have done, and it just went straight to you're on a level.
Yeah.
More to that, we get home, he gives me this piece of paper. What is this? What happened? He told me his side of the story, what actually happened. I went, right. went back up to the school, sat with the deputy principal at the time, and like BJ was saying, she told us what the prompts were, and I said, but he did that. And she went, oh, I didn't know that. I said, why? She goes, because I asked him if he hit him, and he said yes. I said, he's autistic. He's very literal. You say, did you do this? Yeah. Where's the follow-through questions? Where's the prompting of somebody that struggles with communication and...
But I mean, yes, autistic, but however, even if it was any other child, wouldn't you try and work out the
story,
things that happened around the behavior, what provoked it?
Yeah, that's right.
Why did you get to that point?
A lot of the time communication with kids is, did you do this? Yeah, but they did.
Yeah, okay.
Kids will always go, I shouldn't be in trouble. They should be in trouble. They will throw the other person in the deep end. Kids that are autistic, you're asking for information. I'm giving you that information.
Yeah.
Why am I in trouble?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, yeah, because it kind of sounds like a lot of what you guys were experiencing is just frustration from being misheard and not actually seeing an effort of trying to understand both the parent and the child. And I actually can see a lot of correlation between not only what happens to Paul, but like a lot of people who are probably dealing with disabilities where, you get two extreme sides of the coin. It's either you get a lot of unwarranted attention or you're being completely excluded in general. And I feel like the people who make the most impact on the person who may be dealing with the disability is usually the person who's trying to understand them the most. And I find a lot with Paul, because he gets both sides of the story too. He gets a lot of people that are like essentially just staring at him like, what's going on with this guy, or they just like essentially just not even pretend that he's not even there. So, but usually the people that approach him and that are really curious about him are usually the ones that will go through the effort of knowing how to communicate with him and knowing what he's like now, so that in some way they're forming a relationship that's actually meaningful with Paul. So I can see a lot of correlations there. So yeah, it's quite interesting to see that across the board that there's similarities like that. Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. And you've definitely got that pool of people that really want to learn and to try and to be there to help, but just don't get it. And I think they're probably the biggest heartbreak. The ones, because you get people that just fail you and it's like, okay, here we go again. And it's frustrating and it's hurtful and it's challenging. Then you've got the people that are really, really supportive, and that's fantastic. But then that relationship ends for whatever reason. OTs are only supposed to be around for so long. Teachers move on. We're blessed with friends like Vicky, but the pool of people that just try really, really, really hard, but just don't get it. It makes it really difficult for us both, because we're both sort of going, it's really frustrating, but you're so nice, so I can't be angry at you.
Yeah.
It's almost like they don't fully understand. It's almost like they hear autism. It's like, oh, he's special. He sees the world differently. And then they try too hard to be nice, and they end up just treating me like a child. They try their best, but they just don't. They're nice, but they just don't get what I need, what autism actually is. And I really wish that someday more people can be aware, like the working with children's checks and stuff, that you need to work with basically anything really. They should do something where it's autistic people don't need to be treated like a baby. They need to be treated like a normal person, but when they're overwhelmed, support them. give them what they need. Don't just treat them like a baby.
I actually think that that's a really, really good point. I think people that work with people with disabilities, it's not just about an NDIS worker check or, you know, have you done your aged care certificate or have you done your Cert 4 in disability.
That's what I've had. I don't have many ideas.
There should be almost like what's the word? Like a psychological test.
Yeah.
Like of your, or of your, or a personality test of your understanding of the content. Because you can learn from a textbook, but there's definitely no empathy test. There's no, you know what I mean? Like there should be some, because we have had people that, as you would know with support workers, we've had some epic fails. And, you know, just quickly, which I'm sure we will touch base on another day. But, yeah, because I've been hook, line and sinkered into coming back, I believe. We've had a support worker that has completely said to him, just don't tell your mum. And we'll go off and do this and this instead of doing what his goals are. Wow. And it's like, sorry, what? How is that? How is that an okay thing? How is that?
Left me in the car.
Wow.
Yeah, another one just left him in the car, and I said to him, I said, next time message me so I can tell you to like go hide in a bush or something. Like it's really, really wrong, and that's where I think a big gap is. And I think that's a really good point that you've just made. Is there is an aspect of the recruitment process or the learning process that is overlooked.
I think so. I think like maybe they've overlooked a bit of, you know, putting importance on like building some sort of social intelligence when it comes with working with people that are in unique situations, because you know, it's one thing to have a care plan and have an understanding of specific task and how to deal with different things that may arise when you're dealing with someone with disabilities, but it's also another thing to also know that you're developing a relationship with that person and it's going to be unique for each and every
absolutely and personalities will take a huge part of the recruitment process from the person that needs those supports. But if you've got the personality but no understanding or empathy, then it's still not going to work. But
those things you can't teach people, hey.
No, you really can't. You really can't. But every person that you speak to, you're going to have to put a different hat on to be able to communicate with that person that you're working with. And a lot of people that are in the industry might have 3 or 4 different clients that they're working with. Yeah.
Like I've had 2 or 3 support workers where they were great, but not for me. Yeah. They weren't what I needed.
Right.
But getting back to school and wrapping it up, because I'm about to get into trouble. I think the whole school journey has definitely molded BJ into a more defensive person than what he would have been had he have not had to have go through all of those traumatic experiences. But I think it's also shed a light for him on, I think you've grown a lot as far as understanding other people's feelings, because there's been a lot of situations where I've then been able to say when he's given me a situation where it's gone, do you remember that day at school? And he's been able to go, okay, that's not nice. I won't do that again. So as much as I did not want to have my child have to learn that way, we've definitely taken a silver lining from it. There's definitely been an opportunity with it. He's also learnt a lot about advocating for himself, because he's seen how I communicate with people that aren't doing the right thing by him. A lot of the time there's been situations where it's like, well, do you want to speak to the teacher about this, or do you want me to speak to the teacher about this? You know, giving him that independence and that ability to stand up for himself. But the biggest winner, I would have to say, with school is he's not the only one. So there are other kids that are struggling in the school system. And this is going to make me cry. He's actually, I know, I'm a crier, it's what I do. but he's actually seen other kids struggling,
Yeah.
and he's come home and he's gone, Mum, I stopped somebody from having a meltdown today.
Yeah, wow, that's
So,
amazing.
so there have been a lot of situations where you sort of go, you know what, dude, you're going to be okay. You're going to be okay, because that core is so golden in him
Yeah.
that even through all of that, he's actually taken a moment to go, oh, I don't like how the teachers make me feel in this situation. So he's gone up and he's supported somebody else. So
Wow.
I wasn't going
amazing.
to cry.
I had a feeling it would come to tears at some stage. But we do need to wrap it up. So thank you very much for joining us. And I do hope that you guys will come back again and share more of your story, because I know there's a lot more facets to this.
Yeah.
Only if there's coffee next time.
Bring your own beer.
One last thing before we end off as well, once you're done.
Yeah.
I've got something to say.
Say it, because I'm
We're wrapping up.
I'm ending it.
1 like equals 1 prayer for Gub Gub.
Okay.
No
Like
idea
pretend I know
what that
meant.
means, but keep in mind he's 14.
Gub Gub, maybe.
But if you resonate with this story and you want to share your own insights,
Yeah.
or just share your story, you can contact us at spoonfedtruth@outlook.com. You can also catch us on our socials. We're on Instagram and Facebook. And don't forget to tune in to our next podcast. We release these every 2 weeks. Please share, comment, like. We subscribe. We could always use the support with disability. And thank you again for watching / listening. And see you next time.
Bye.
Bye.